When people are asked about London, they usually automatically picture the Queen, Big Ben, double-decker buses, and Holmes and Bond. These literary turned cinematic figures played a part in defining British culture during a time when the future of the country was uncertain. But as years have passed, so has this period of uncertainty and need for fiction as a form of escape. So, where does that leave these cultural heroes today? That's what I aim to discover through my research and exploration into these characters' legacies and how they've transformed throughout the years. Let's take a look at Sherlock Holmes. The first Sherlock Holmes film came out in the early 1900s and looked very different from the Sherlock Holmes we know today. Over 100 years later, the latest version of Sherlock Holmes has moved to the small screen in the BBC version and has changed quite a bit.
How fresh?
Just in. 67 natural causes. Used to work here. I knew him. He was nice.
Fine. We'll start with the riding crop.
So, how did Sherlock Holmes go from the smart-witted British detective who lived on your street to this time-bending, gender-warping anti-hero of the future? What cultural shifts have resulted in this transformation, and what changes will need to be made moving forward in order for this character to stay relevant? All of these questions are ones I aim to answer through my research. Similar questions could be asked regarding the iconic figure James Bond. While to the naked eye, James Bond seems to have remained a classic staple, in many ways he has changed into much more of a modern man. But it is quite interesting to note how similar the character has remained over the past few decades.
My name is Bond.
Bond.
Bond. Bond. Bond.
Bond.
James Bond.
Bond has not had to evolve nearly as much as Holmes, but still manages to pull blockbuster numbers at the movie theaters with each new release. In my research with Bond, I plan to examine why he has been able to not evolve as much from the original character, and what that says about British culture and how it has evolved over these decades as well. I also plan to predict how he will need to change in order to stay relevant moving forward. Ultimately, Holmes and Bond are a part of the fabric that makes up London, icons that have defined British culture for many within England and across the world. Their lasting power speaks to a bigger attribute of the impact of fiction and how long that impact can last. That is why I want to investigate Bond and Holmes and how their journeys to stay relevant differed, while also examining how they stayed the same.